Hello everyone, this is Goblin Man 7 back at you here. It's been probably couple of years, I don't know, maybe not. But anyway, it's been a long time since my last upload. Yeah, life's been busy, but I've still been gaming, video gaming, board gaming, and other hobbies and interests. So yeah, I'm here today to do a little introduction of some of the components and rules, and then I'll do another video with a quick playthrough to show you all for the board game Sagrada, as you see here. Nice little cover art there, very nice. Looks good, looks good. Uh, yeah, so Sagrada is by Floodgate Games. I think it came out a couple of years ago. So it's still a pretty new game. It was just released electronically on Steam and Android. But my preferred way of playing is physically with real people, if that's possible. I've been playing it more electronically during COVID, obviously. But so this is just a brief overview of the components. I'm going to go over them pretty quickly, and then I'm going to do a quick playthrough. We'll have a phantom second player that won't actually be playing, but also be doing that interaction, showing you how the drafting works every turn. That's pretty interesting and pretty vital, I think, to the game. It's a really nice looking game. The components are really nice, and it really catches the eye for sure. So first of all, we have the scoring track up here. So this lets you keep score of your score, basically. So it goes up to 50, and then when you need to go over 50, because sometimes you might get less than 50, sometimes you might go over 50, there's another little cardboard cutout to go back to 150, 152, etc., to count up your points at the end of the match. The next component we have here is these are called, these are the tools. On the back there you can see they have different abilities, after drafting, increase or decrease the value by 1. So you can change the numbers. Here's this one. Move any one die in your window ignoring color. So if there is a blue square on your stained glass window, you could put a red dice there as long as you obey other placement restrictions, which I'll go over how that works too. So there's some pretty cool, there's a lot of tools here, as you can see. Yeah, they're pretty interesting, and they definitely make the game more exciting for sure. So when we do the playthrough, I'll show you the ones that are drawn. So here we have the actual play boards, I guess, little cardboard pieces. They're double-sided. So this one has, these are necessary. And then the other side, and there's 5 favor tokens, as you can see there. And those are these beautiful things here, and they let you use favor tokens to play these tools in a game. So if you're stuck, or if you just want to change something up, you can use a favor token, and then you would use up one of these. So for the favor tokens, the first time you use one, you submit one favor token to use the ability, unless somebody else has used that tool before in the game. So if the second player has used one of these 3 tools in the game, you would have to, every player subsequently after that would have to use 2 favor tokens in order to use that tool. So that's kind of how that works. And basically, if you don't use up favor tokens, the count as points for you at the end of the game. Because at the end of the game, you basically want to fill this entire window. Once you insert one of these cards into the window, you want to fill this window, every single square. You want to fill every single square, because any square you count, any favor token that you haven't used points for, any window spaces in your window count as points against at the end of the match scoring. I'll show you that during the playthrough, but it's really cool how that works. And you can see they're double-sided. There's quite a few different ones here. Some nice ones here. Here's this one here. There's quite a few of them. Some have 5. Some have 3 favor tokens. That's the very lowest. And then there's some with 4. There's some with 5, and it goes all the way up to 6. As you can see, though, the 3 doesn't have the 3 has more open spaces, so the white spaces mean any number and any color could go there. But if you look at, say, a 5 or a 6, this is a 5, for example, there's a lot more necessary colors and numbers that have to be placed. You can't just put a dice wherever you want. You have to obey what's under here. So that's pretty cool. And that's basically how you play. Like you're drawing dice, trying to fill your board and trying to accumulate points. And you get points by fulfilling these, what they call public objectives. And in each game, there's 3 public objectives. So you lay them out. So one might be like this one here, columns with no repeated color. So if you've got a column here that has one of each color, you would get 5 points at the end of the match for that column. And then you would look across the board to see how many you got. Here's another row color variety. So exactly the same as the column, except it's rows. So you got to fill the rows with different colors. If you do that per row, each row you get 6 points. So that's pretty good. Row shade variety. So row shade variety, kind of like the colors, the row of colors, but except colors, it's got to be one of each number. So no repeating numbers in a row. If you can manage that each row, you get 5 points for those. And the exact same for column shade variety. Instead of rows, you're looking at the columns. If you have no repeating number values in the columns, you would get 4 points per column. So that's a nice way to gain points too. Light shade, so you get 2 points for every 1 and 2 on your stained glass window. So if you have 3 1s and 3 2s, you get 6 points. That type of a thing. Medium shade, so you get 2 points for every 3 and 4 paired together. So that's another nice way to gain some points. Deep shade, so every 5 and 6, every pair of 5 and 6, you get 2 points. So you can't have like 2 5s. 2 5s won't land you 2 points if you don't have a 6. If you have 2 5s and a 6, you'd still get 2 points because you don't have a second 6 to pair with the second 5. That's kind of how those work. And this is, you get 5 points for shade variety anywhere on the board. So no matter where on the board you have different colors, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as long as it's 1 through 6 on the board anywhere, doesn't matter if they're straight, right? Doesn't matter what configuration, just as long as they're on the board, you would get 5 points for every set of dice from 1 through 6. So if you have 2 sets, it gives you 10. So color diagonals, so you get a point for every dice that's of the same color diagonally or orthogonally adjacent to it. So as you can see, every color, if you're diagonally to it, it will give you points. So it's good with this, it's really good to play like colored dice diagonally instead of just putting them anywhere. This will land you some nice points at the end of the match. And this is the same as the set of value, except it's colors, so sets of one of each color anywhere on the board. So that's a nice way to get points too. And yeah, so those are the public objectives. Everyone can see the public objectives. Now these are the private objectives here, and I'll show you those. So there's red, points for shades of red, so red, yellow, green, blue, and purple. And basically how these private objectives work, you wouldn't want to show your opponents these because you wouldn't want to see I get points. But if you have a 6 that's red on here, at the end of the match you'll get 6 points for that one dice. And if you have 3 6s, you'll get 18 points. So a good strategy in Sagrada, a good known strategy is to, sometimes at the expense of, occasionally, of some of your public objectives, is to really go for high dice value of your private objective. Because if you have a bunch of red 6s in this example, or a few red 5s, even the 5s are a good number. If you have a bunch of those at the end of the match, you're going to net some nice points, even at the occasional expense of of the public objectives, because you can't always have everything. And then of course favor tokens, as I explained, and those are indicated by, of course, just to highlight it again, these circles here, and you want to use those wisely because they will land you points at the end of the match. But at the same time, if it's late in the match and you've got a couple of empty spaces in your window, it's usually a good idea to use up those favor tokens to try your best to fill your entire stained glass window, because like I said, it's better, it'll get you more points that way. And you don't want empty spaces, because that'll go, each empty space is -1 point, and odds are it'll screw up other public objective that you might have. So like rows, if you leave gaps, it'll negatively affect multiple areas. Yeah, so that's everything here, as you can see, all the components, and that's a basic overview of how you play the game of Sagrada. In the next video, I'm going to do an example game, and like I said, it'll just be me playing against a phantom opponent. They're not going to play. I'm just going to show you how the interaction of dice works and how the drafting, and sort of some of the thought process that goes into each move of the game of Sagrada. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming up, and yeah, so stay tuned for that. And I hope you enjoyed this quick introduction and overview to the board game known as, let's get the box here, Sagrada. Stay tuned.